Good morning. Hello. Check one. Check. Hey. Let's turn this up. Hey. There we go. We're loud now. What's up? What's up, everybody? The volume probably didn't change on your end. I just trying to get it louder in my head. Oh. Hold on. Check. Man, this microphone is. All right. There we go. That seems better. Good morning. It's Monday, June 12th. And it was interesting. I was looking at I was poking around. Let me remove this. I was poking around on the okay. uh, on the Ubers to see what was coming out of the area. And I noticed that they're paying really well to go up to Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Not really well, but better than they have been. And so, the way my head goes is like, okay, why? What's the deal there? What's going on with that? So, if I see something, I want to know why. And a lot of times, it makes me wonder what the volumes are looking like in Wisconsin, because if they're bad, then that's why they're probably putting some money on it. But we'll see. Not that I'm getting ready to do a load or anything, but I'm always looking out of curiosity. So, anyways, we'll get some more people in here. We'll do some comments, and then we'll look at the low board. Really don't have a lot to talk about. It's going to be another light week. I do believe we have a safety meeting coming up. And other than that, one truck that was going to be coming out Monday is not coming out till Wednesday now, it looks like, possibly. And then I've got another truck that needs to be booked Wednesday, and then that's it. So everybody else is off doing their own thing. So low board rates are still trash. Well, we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at volumes too. That's usually where I start. And it's Monday morning, so numbers are going to be skewed a little bit. I tend to avoid low boards for the most part for most of Monday morning. I mean, I'll poke around and look if I'm desperate. Not desperate, but if I'm on, like, let's say that I know there's going to be a truck empty Monday morning, I wasn't able to book anything on Friday. Then I'll look. Then I'll look and call, but for the most part, I check my resources first. And there's going to be a members only video talking about my exact process that I do. I should say members first. But I still have to make that video. I did one video kind of giving the origin story of how this started. And so, but anyways, oh, my name is Nobody. Good morning. CB from Indy. Scott Rolla. Good morning, all. Good to see you. Good morning, Steve. Thanks for sending me that video last night. You're welcome. Hopefully it was very eye-opening. In fact, I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna put up that video. I thought I put it in my community posts. It's a video that should probably upset everybody. Kind of make you think twice about stuff. But no one cares, right? So let's see. Evidently, there we go. YouTube, my internet's been off here lately. And I'm talking to other people, they're having the same issues regardless of their carrier or their location. Let's see. Where's your channel? See if I put it up on the community post here. I don't get a whole lot of traction on my community post, to be honest with you. I think there's a way that you can, yeah, it's on here. I think there's a way that you can get notifications the minute someone puts up a post, but I haven't figured that out yet. I don't get any notifications for community posts at all. If I happen to be on the homepage, then it shows up. But there's the video that Romeland's talking about. So, but anywho, listen to that, watch that. It's a podcast style, so you don't have to watch it. You can listen to it. But anyways, that's a different topic for a different day, for a different crowd, probably. So, but anyways, I'm glad you checked that out. It's a very eye-opening video. Rockin' Robin, good morning. Southbound Pachyderm, what's up? The old man, you are not first, but you're first in your world. You should be the first in your world. Jerome Jones, good morning. Low board rates are still trash. Desiroki Pam, good morning. Aren't you signed on with someone now? Didn't you put your authority on hold? How's that going? Desiroki Pam, good morning. So let's do a hot market map. Take a look at what's going on in our little world. And then there's the link. Everybody go check out that video, please. Let's see. Extra share screen, window, boink, boink. There we go. Oh, and let's talk about this real quick. Let me unshare this real quick. Something that's kind of important if you run the Northeast. All right, so if you are driving through Philadelphia on I-95, you've got this to deal with. It's going to take months to repair the section of I-95 that collapsed in Northeast Philadelphia. So yeah, I mean, and it's not just that one section. It's all the way across the interstate. So you're looking at a pretty intense delay, right? So just keep that in mind. Of course, PennDOT's got a recommended detour, which is going to be US 1, to US 76, to US 67, or to I 76 to I 676. So that's going to be a big deal. That's going to take, so if you're heading northbound, you want to take I 676 west to I 76 west. Take exit 304B for US 1. Go to Woodhaven Road, Route 63 exit, and head east, which will take you I-95 north of the collapse. Man, the freaking ads on this is just stupid. If you're heading southbound, take I-95 on the Route 63 Woodhaven Road to US 1 and get on I-76 east take 676 east, and then merge on the I-95 southbound. So it's gonna get interesting there in Philly. So just keep that in mind. Yep, they got to clean it up. Then they got to figure out what went wrong, and then they got to repair it. So that's doesn't take much. I mean, steel does buckle under heat, so I know that from my welding days. So, anyways, just food for thought there. So Philadelphia is going to suck for a minute. So, I mean, it sucks all the time, but it's going to be worse. So, make sure you're leaving yourself plenty of ample time. A traffic jam does not count on the logbook for that exemption for extreme issues, whatever it's called. That's primarily weather, or if an interstate is shut down due to an accident and you didn't know about it till you got up to it. So that's I constantly calls from drivers asking about that, the exemption, and that's not how it works. So lies, I tell you lies. I was definitely first. You're doing all right over there. Good deal. East Coast is going to be a bigger nightmare than usual for a long time. That is true. Grafton, what's up? Was over there last week in Gloucester Port. Gloucester. Is that probably how you say that? But anyways, let's go over some low board stuff. I really don't, like I said, I don't have a lot to talk about. I've been kind of talked out. I'm in this one of these moods where I talk too much, and I hate the sound of my voice. So I'm not going to get all preachy or philosophical or anything like that. But here's the van rates. Notice Texas, Arizona, California. This is evidence of produce, and then in the fall you'll see New Mexico light up a little bit because of pumpkins. Peanuts also come out of New Mexico, but peanuts and cotton. So when you can figure out those seasons, you can probably look into some things. But let's take a look at Pennsylvania. Let's see what's coming out of there. Here we go. Here's a low for $50. We're already off to the games. My guess it's supposed to be 500 because the average is around 493. 731, 600 is the range. 6,500 pounds. Going down to Mechanicsville, Virginia. So not a whole lot. Oh, wow. It looks like out of Mechanicsville, there's 472 loads. So that's pretty decent. So that might be a good run. Let's see what else. It's a short run too. How far is that? That's 181 miles. It gets you out of Pennsylvania, and then you can book some decent rates coming out of Virginia. Reading, PA to Petersburg. Let's do it by rate first. See what kind of rates we're getting out of here. Look at this: $1.23, $1.21, $1.27, $1.33, $1.13, $1.55. This is why when you chase the money into Pennsylvania, it can hurt you in the long run. Here's one for 95 cents a mile going all the way out to California. Let's click on that one. Coming out of 84 PA, going to City of Industry, California, Picks up today, delivers Thursday, 2,400 miles. The the oh man, this is hurting my brain here. So 2,400, 2,407 divided by 4. That's 601 miles a day. So that's doable, depending on the times. But would you do this load? Can you do this load? Cargo Chief's got it about 3,900. And then Green Screens has got the high at 37. So, there's really doesn't get much better than that. But you're going to be on it all week. So 2288, let's say you're a horrible negotiator, you can't get them up on that price. 2288 divided by 4 days. That's $572 a day. Let's say you're at an 80% company times 0.8, 457. Then you got to take fuel out of that. And that'll be your short net there. Now, my cost can handle that, but would I want to tie up my truck for that long? Now, if I lived out in California, I'd probably find a better load anyways. So you got hopefully if you take this load, you got your money coming into Pennsylvania. So, but there's really, I mean, that's what you're dealing with. A lot of people are like, I want to go out in the spot market and get all this freedom. Well, there's your freedom to turn this load down. So, let's see. Meanwhile, you can get a load to Florida for $1.98. Get them up to $2 or $2.20. Picks up today at 0500. So either it's been covered and not taken off the low board, or they haven't been able to cover this yet. See, this is why Monday morning low boards are crap. And then there's 101 loads coming out of Fort Pierce. Let's see what those rates look like. $7, $43 going into Jersey, $17, $55. There's $21, 119. What I look for is the loads that are like a day going up into Georgia. Minimize the damage there. Mute this. Talking a new and different voice. So new and interesting. Good morning. If you're in PA, avoid I-95 around Philly. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Schmitty, you're late. Mr. Wilson, good morning. Carnivore Trucker, good morning. Everybody check out Carnivore Trucker. He's been doing some interviews, and he's getting his sub count up there, so go help him out. 2285, and they want you to haul Aztec with it. And the terrible thing is someone will take it. Well, here's the thing. That's what they're hoping for, right? And look, someone might need a backhaul that goes directly to California. Someone there might be a dispatcher, that has to find something for that truck to get it back to the contract freight. Or there might be a dispatcher that's pressure to keep the person moving. Now, but that's also a tactic. I would negotiate up. That there you got to weigh the costs, right? You got to weigh the costs. You got to, there's just. Let's see if we can go back that load. Let's take a look at the calculator there. So the total profit from this load, check this out. Okay. So this is the great thing about the 123 low board 48065 is the code. But check this out. So they've calculated your miles, the pay per mile, 2288. Estimated fuel cost is $1,700.48. Or I'm sorry, 1748 and 28 cents. So that's at 6 miles a gallon at 435 a gallon. Now, I know fuel's a little bit cheaper, but you're going out to California, so you average it out, right? Now, I added additional cost at 20%. What they call it a dispatch fee. I call it your, whatever your carrier percentage is, right? And so the total profit from that load is $41. So you literally worked all week or most of the week for 2 cents a mile or $41.12 on this one load. Now, if you combine it with another load or combine it for the whole week, what does that look like? That's why it's important to know your costs, because you might be working for free. I mean, $41, that's like what? A couple of Happy Meals at McDonald's and some carbolicious drink that you don't need? Or 2 cups of Starbucks? So yeah, this is a horrible load in my eyes. Now I was like, well, you can get good money coming out of California. Can you? Let's look at the backhauls. Let's look at California to anywhere. You can get $1.92 or 55.94 to go all the way to New Hampshire. But then New Hampshire looks horrible. They're not even paying $2 a mile to come out. Look at this one. California to Maryland for $1.06 a mile. $1.50, $1.48, $1.52. Here's one going to Portland, 263 miles. So let's click on that one. Two-day run. That don't book until Friday, which is, I guess, the idea, right? If you're going out to California, 38,000 pounds. They're at 2,600, which is about right where it usually is, but it's been as high as 35. There was a time when we were making big money coming out of Cali. Guys were making 10,000, 10 and 12,000 to come out of California. Those days are obviously gone. So yeah, you got to be smart. Here's one for 71 cents a mile going to Michigan. 9,000 pounds. It might be hopefully a partial. But I've actually called on loads that I thought were partials and they're not. And you can't go by the rate per mile. Here, these are $4.71 a mile, but it's like $400 to go from California to California. So you just got to be smart about it. But that's what you're dealing with. And so yeah, it's easy to say, well, I don't go to California. Well, that's true. That's one of the many reasons why. But obviously, it's green, so there's volumes coming up. But what they're hoping is that you're not doing your homework, because it's their job to have the rates as low as possible for the shipper. And, because the shippers have been reamed for the last, year and a half. So a lot of these rates make me glad I'm a company driver. What, you wouldn't work for 2 cents a mile there, Scott? You have to negotiate it up 200% for it to be decent. And look, I've done that with some loads going to Denver. I've gotten $1,000 over the average on a Denver load. Mr. Wilson, I'm currently unloading a 315 a mile contract load and then driving 20 miles to pick up 243 mile broker load to deliver today. Good deal. Ain't getting rich, but I clear 1K a week average the last 2 years. There you go. Indy to Louisville. That's good money for a company. Indy to Louisville, back to Indy. There you go. How much is that making you a day, Thomas? Tell with California, says Thomas. Good morning, Steve, says CDN. I'm late again. I will be written up soon. Average 1,200 to 1,500 a day, says Thomas. Good morning, Snorelord in chat. Wilburner, what's up? I used to say good morning, Wilburner, fellow bearded person, but can't say that for a while. Oops. SST, what's up? Hey, Steve, blessed morning. Elroy Logistics. Good morning. But anywho, so this is Van. Let's take a look at Texas is another one that's been kind of strange, right? Sort this by rate. Man, they're playing the games today. $27,000 to go from Wilmer, Texas to Phoenix, Arizona. So evidently someone's fat fingered it, or they're doing that so their load is on the top if you sort this by rate, highest rate. And that's a tactic. I've talked to a couple of brokers that told me that's what they do. They do that on purpose. So they can get attention to their load. Look at their credit, though. They're at 87, 39 days to pay on trans credit. They've got an A with Thunder, but they're at 40 days. So I would want to know why they're at 87. This is Direct Connect Logistics. And some of the big brokerages are starting to falter a little bit on their pay. I was talking to Jeff about that the other day. We have a list now of brokers that we can't use. You got Laredo to Lewiston, Maine. A little low, but you can probably get them up a little bit. Picks up today at noon, so if it hasn't been covered yet, they're probably going to be ready to move this. Not much coming out of Lewiston though, so you got to be careful of that. Be aware of what the rates. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look and see what the rates are coming out of Lewiston. $1.20, $1.26. Go right back to Arizona for $32.80. Here's Davins, Massachusetts, going to Piney Flats, Tennessee. They're trying to push this for 97 cents a mile, and it says 44,000 pounds. Look at their credit. They've got a B with Thunder. They got a 94 with TransCredit. So again, I would want to know why there's a difference there. So you just got to do your homework, man. That's kind of what I try to do. So let's take a look at reefer. Arizona's yellow. Let's look at California. Let's see if they're paying any better coming out. Look at this one. Lodi, California, going to Hickory, North Carolina, 280 a mile. Looks like it's got a couple of pickups, 3 pickups and 1 delivery. So more than likely that's produce. Team driven, yes. They want a team on this. I think. Yeah, with all those stops. So that's why they're way above what the averages are going for. So the multiple stops. So that might be something good. And North Carolina is not a bad place to land. Let's see. They're paying to go into the Northeast for obvious reasons. Look at the rates coming out. Connecticut. Let's take a look at this one going to Michigan. Avoid the Northeast and get pretty much the same amount of money. Second stop in Albuquerque. Ice cream. So it's going to burn more fuel on the reefer. And then I'm not sure if that stop in Albuquerque is a pickup or delivery. But it doesn't deliver till Friday at 7:30, the last stop. Picks up today at 11:30. So obviously they're waiting till last minute to book these things. Credit looks good. Giltner tends to be a little bit lower than everybody else. But I take it back. I've gotten a couple of good rates out of them. Here's Oceanside to Holland, Michigan. Let's take a look at that one. No extra stops. A little bit less money, but for those about to rock, we salute you. Come on with it. BS. The shippers have not been reamed. The shippers were paying what rate should have been. This isn't 1976. We're not riding around with our best friend Bear. I was kind of referring to a lot of the shipping container prices. They went from a couple of thousand to like 5 digits. And ask any business, their shipping costs went up exponentially. So, um, and you know what? Yeah, we were getting paid really well. Look what that did. That made the trucks. I mean, why are we having the same discussion? I told you guys when the rates were sky high, and everybody's like, "Hey, we're finally getting what's fair to us." What did they do? What did everything do? Everything went up. Truck prices went up exponentially. Trailer prices went up exponentially. Your labor went up to $2 an hour on at the dealerships. Fuel went up. The so all that insertion of cash, injection of cash, now they get a bigger piece of the pie, and then our rates come down, and now we're getting the payment for it. That's how it works. So anytime, and that's the thing about trucking, anytime you get a bigger piece of the pie, someone's going to come along and take it. It's that simple. That's why they want to up minimum wage to $15 an hour. Make you think you're getting more money, but you're not. A lot of people I talk to, that are not truck drivers, they're making more money than they've ever had before, more per hour, yet they're broke. Why? Because their rent went up, the utilities went up, their gas went up. It feeds the machine. Shippers went crying to the government, claiming rates are too high. So Brandon gave us the long, hard one. Now shippers are happy, but did anything in the store drop in price? No. The old man. What fuel cost did you base your business on? The retired trucker. Oh yeah. We work in a gold rush cycle business. Don't be surprised when someone charges $199 for a shovel when you're in a mining camp. Right. That that's the MO, man. If I had the capital, I could put people in trucks and trailers and make money that way. Carnivore says all expenses are going up. It's getting harder every week to put money back. It is. That's by design. So I knew that when the rates were sky high, and I knew that the shippers were paying, 10 to 15,000 more for those shipping containers, because face it, we do a lot of overseas things, and we all know the answer, invest in American, yada yada, all that stuff. I know that, but it's not happening, and it won't happen. So you got to adapt and overcome, right? These are things that are out of your control. With both feet, good morning. Everything goes up anyways. It always has, except for trucking rates. Trucking rates have been static for 40 years and have not kept up with inflation. So let me ask you a question, RD. I'm going to pick on you a little bit today. All in good fun. Why are you still in this game? I know you've been in this game for a while. Why are you still in it if you felt that things have been unfair for 40 years? That would be my question. Meanwhile, there are people out there driving new trucks. They got to be doing something. These carriers have been around for more than 40 years. They got to be doing something. CDN, how many in this chat have pulled out your broker carrier agreement and send an amendment that due to increased operational costs that you're adding 10% fuel surcharge to all rates and increased rate hour wait time? Zero, because the broker will just find the cheaper truck. I know a couple of people that did do that, CDN, and it worked okay for them, but these are long established broker relationships where it was practically contract without the contract. In other words, it was like, hey, I've been doing this for a year for you. Fuel is getting pricey, so can we up this a little bit? So that's a good strategy, but it's got to be with stuff that people have been doing a minute. And that's hard to do, and when you're just calling a new broker for every load every single time. That's the difference. So, anyways, let's take a look at reefer freight out of Wisconsin. Oh, here we go. 294 to go from Wisconsin to Connecticut. You can okay, so check this out. You can do 3,500 to go to Connecticut, 1189 pounds, or you can make 3,400 less to go to Washington at almost double the miles. Here's Denmark, Wisconsin, to Quakertown, Pennsylvania. They're at 2,900 for 940 miles, 309 a mile. I'd be curious to know what that receiver is. It delivers Thursday at 3 p.m., picks up tomorrow at 2 p.m., 940 miles. But then let's take a look at rates coming out of PA. None of them are breaking. Well, here's one. I would take this Pittsburgh to Harrison, Ohio for $900, and then Ohio you can probably get something decent, or Indiana. It's a little bit less per mile though. I would do this one. This is a day run. Combine it with the other one, you're actually doing pretty good there. CDN says if every carrier does it, remember, don't take cheap freight. Wait, what is cheap freight? Again, we're beating a dead horse. Beating a dead horse. It's a invalid argument, to be honest with you. You either take it or you don't, and if you have to take it, then you have to make it work. And with today's costs, I don't see how you make it work. But these are decent rates coming out of Wisconsin. But then every now and then you see something like this, $1.84 to go into Florida. They're at 23. Usually it's around 3. You know, and there's something to be said. So let's say I call on this load, Triple T Transport. I call them up. Hey, I'm looking at your load, picking up in Belgium, Wisconsin today. I notice that it's still posted. Picks up at 2:00. I'm right there. Going to Plant City, Florida, for 8 a.m. on Thursday. Right? No, Wednesday. Well, it's a van load too, so it's a dry load. So that's probably why the rate is so much lower. And then say, hey, why? But yeah, we're at 2,300. Okay, and you negotiate. You talk to them. You figure out why is this at 2,300, and then they're going to tell you, well, that's all I got in it. And they're going to tell you some odd number. Well, we've got 2,283, and I'm actually losing a few bucks on this load. Are okay, so now they're trying to bring your let's talk about this. They're trying to bring your emotion into it. Okay? You could turn around and do the same thing. You could sit there like, well, my cost per mile is this, and cost per day is this, and I'm at 28.42, if I avoid, this road or that road or whatever, fuel's about here. So, but I'll tell you what, I'll take a loss on it, and I'll do it for 2,700 even, right? See if that works on them. And you say things like, I understand that you're pressured to keep these rates down as much as possible. We're both trying to make money here, and I'm sure that there's something that we can do, that we can meet in the middle somewhere. Where both of our bosses are happy. And there you go. That I've actually used that and it's worked. It's not hard. You got, like let's say they that rate is fairly low. Say, why is it so low? And then they'll say something like, they'll say some BS, and then you got to call them out, but in a nice, gentle way. If it's BS, if their hands are completely tied, and their boss says, "Don't do this more than 2,300," then you like, and then it doesn't work for you. Then you move on. You say, "Okay, thank you for your time. Good luck. I hope you can get that load move. If anything changes, here's my number." And you move on. You don't get angry about it. You don't get upset. You don't call them disrespectful. You don't disrespect that person, and just move on. And if you call on this one particular broker load and they're always like that, then don't call them anymore. And where that gets annoying is if that broker's got like multiple postings in an area that you're in, it's hard to avoid them. But there are brokers I won't even call, even if it looks like the perfect load, because I know what their answer is going to be. I know what they're trying to pull. I know that certain brokers are more prone to giving me wrong information or canceling the load on me, because let's say that I cock them up to 3,000 on this load. Okay, let's say I do that because I'm awesome, but they don't take the load posting down, and this is where you guys got to pay attention. Okay, let's say they don't take the load posting down just yet, and someone else calls, "Hey, I'm interested in this load going from Belgium, Wisconsin to Plant City, Florida." "Oh, we just got that covered." "Oh yeah, what you cover it for?" $3,000. "Oh well, I'll do it for 24." There were people that will undercut you. That's how competitive it is. So you can ask for the rates that you want, but someone's going to cut you out. And the brokers are doing that to each other with the shippers, hoping that they'll find the carriers that will move these cheap rates. Because just like a lot of drivers, there's a lot of brokers that aren't looking at the bigger picture. They just need to move. They're quoting freight without any kind of homework, without any kind of market basis, just to undercut the guy that's got that freight, because they're desperate for freight as well. Brokers are seeing hard times too. That's why they're laying off. How many of you lost your Coyote rep? How many of you lost your CH rep? And now you got brokers like big ones that aren't paying their bills now. The broker list that we got the other day of brokers that we can't use, these are big brokers that I've used multiple times in the past. Chief rate is what's left after all costs. If you aren't making more than a company driver, then what are we doing? Says, come on with it. That's the problem, Steve. I know. That's why these arguments are just they're just echo chamber complaints, because this is what we got in front of us. We can't control it. We can minimize the damage, but I know people that are still making money. Walmart drivers making more than some owner operators. I know several owner operators that closed their authority and went to Walmart, and they're doing very well. How come foreign brokerages that have a USA address and phone number, but if you speak with them, are working from another country? How did they get freight to post on low boards? Why do shippers work with them? Because there are shippers out there that don't realize that game. They don't realize that part of the game. They just want somebody to move the load. And so that's where a brokerage that can come in and give detailed service can come in, but those shippers are looking for the cheapest thing. I mean, look at the brokerages. There's like big brokerages that now outsource their weekend. You call C.H. Robinson or J.B. Hunt on a weekend or overnight, and you're talking to someone that's being outsourced, because everybody's trying to get their numbers down. Everybody's trying to take a piece of their pie, right? And so it makes you wonder how they're able to do that. But I do know one of these brokerages that do exactly what you're saying right here, CDN. They're one of the ones that are not paying right now. Yep, follow the money. Old school, new school's right. Good morning, buddy. Empty in Springfield, Missouri, looking for a load. Well, I can help you out with that. Let's take a look. I thought you were landing in Fort Smith, or is that somebody else? All right, picking up. Let's do for today. There's quite a bit. About 8 o'clock, 8:30, you'll see the low board kind of light up. A lot of stuff coming out of here. Let's filter this by pickup location. Okay. Sort by deadhead miles. A lot of stuff coming out of Springfield. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this Springfield to Grove City. I think I know what this is. Picks up today at 12:15. Delivers tomorrow at noon. 678 miles. So good luck making that. Idiots. You would have to get loaded early and make some really good time. 41,000 pounds. You're going to lose your fuel mileage before you get to St. Louis. And then you're probably going to, if that's going to Target there in Grove City, then you're probably going to lose your day. So, and they're only wanting $1.62 a mile for that. You got Mansfield, Emporia, Virginia, 21.29 on the rate. Talk them up a little bit more. Virginia, not a bad spot to land. A lot of mountains though. What's the weight on this? 40,000. Wire basket suspension kits. I'm not familiar with that shipper in Mansfield. And you could do a shorty to Indy and hang out with Thomas Wilson there. Let's see what the highest paying thing's coming out of here. The highest overall rate is going to California, 3450. Connecticut's the second one, going to Cromwell, Connecticut, New York, Delaware. They're not paying to go to Lakeland, Florida. That's interesting. That's about 150-mile deadhead to Edgerton. Olathe's got this logo in the Denver for $291 a mile, 1708. Although, what are you going to get out of there? So, I was seeing better rates than this on Uber. Here's Sullivan, Missouri to Clayton, Indiana. This is probably going to be a Menards run. Maybe. Well, maybe not. Usually it says needs to be a Menards carrier. $980 for the day. If you get that done, it picks up today. Oh, it doesn't deliver till 6:30 tomorrow night. Screw that. You're only at about $400 a day at that point. So let's close that. A lot of options. Let's post this by age. See how much last minute stuff we're getting. A lot of 1 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute. That Kentucky might be something. Neosho to Russellville. What's the weight on this one? 42. So that's going to be grass seed or dog food. Wayland, Michigan. Go visit Mr. Jeffrey Like. Alan Lund's got that one. Springdale. Doesn't have a weight on it. Might be able to get him up to 17 on that. Fort Gibson, the Joplin. That's going to be beverages. Store's got that. So obviously they might have where you can do 2 in one day. If you can get them both done, that's how many miles is that? Let's take a look at this one. Straight through delivery. Yeah, you're only at 550. Oh, the weight is 9,700. But it says sports drink, so who knows? How many miles? What's the total miles? 123. So if you're able to do that back to back, be able to deliver in one day, which I don't know that delivery time, that might be a window. You might be able to get them to 550 times 2. So what's that? 1,100 a day. That's what I was doing when I was doing the Joplin, the Rogers. So I would talk to see what that situation is. Port Gibson, that's not too bad. Fort Gibson, I'm sorry. That receiver, though, in Fort Gibson, though, not the best. You got dog food coming out of Maida going to Lansing, Michigan. Maida is a little bit deceiving on the deadhead because you can't get there directly from here. You know, you got to go through some woods, and it's very time consuming. Maida's not a great place. They got Webb City to Orlando. So it depends if you want to run long, you want to run short. They're all over the place on this. So there you go. Retired trucker, stay away from I-95 in Philly. It's going to be shut down for a while due to a bridge collapse. Seek alternate routes. Yep, I talked about that in the beginning of this feed there, Mr. Pale Rider. Scorpion Trucker, good morning from Arkansas, delivering about an hour from here, then heading to Mississippi to deliver. Cheers. Good deal, man. Good deal. Cheap freight is freight that literally pays zero. There you go. Old school, how'd the foreign broker get past the gatekeeper to even get a chance to bid on their freight? I guess it's easy. Everyone cold call these shippers and sell them on service. It's easy. There you go. I know there's some sarcasm to that. CDN, many of these shippers are international companies. It's easier and cheaper for a large company to use one contractor for that one thing globally. Love your show, but minute Ukraine girl comes on, I'm out. Sorry. The guy I bought my trailer from thought rates were going to come up and he was going to lease on to me and run for the summer. He wound up driving for Walmart. Some of these brokers are using a management company for properties because the gatekeeper became a foreigner, started dealing with homeboys. These are all assumptions, right? Yeah, I mean, and that's it. The supply chain is complex and very layered, right? That driver who parked under the I-95 bridge, what's the cost on that? Yeah. Somebody got fired, right? Literally. Postage age 58 minutes. Does it show a trailer type hopper bottom? Yes. Maybe the entire conversation has to flip, discuss, teach how to run cheap. This way, you're in the wave trying to swim up the wave. Walmart forces vendors to provide low-cost products. CDN and I agree on a lot of things, and one of them is that the complexities of freight and how it moves and what makes it move and where the money's at, it's so complex. It goes beyond, just one of these brokers trying to move a load for 98 cents a mile into Florida or into California. Cool Trucking, good morning. Josh the Vegan, you're here. CDN reality, it's not about running cheaper. It's more about who is least expensive. Cheap is different than less expensive. Walmart is also penalizing carriers for early delivery. Yeah, they've always done that, though, because it screws up their logistics system. That's the thing. I know Schneider will pull Walmart and Tractor Supply loads off the owner operator's load board because too many of them are trying to deliver early. The dumb. I can agree about who has lower costs. Okay, should Steve and other YouTube focus on how to get your operational costs below market average? Cassius King talks about that along with DIY and Fate. It takes a thinking person to cut his costs. Well, the reality is that's about the only thing you have control. A lot of people can't handle self-dispatch. There's so many complexities that you're thrown into. You're worried about markets, you're worried about scheduling, you're worried about, think about this. Just one load. Just one load. You call a broker. That's one person. And then you're dealing with a shipper. That's a second person. And then you deliver the load. That's a third person. And so you're dealing with three different entities that need to have their act together for you to make money. So that's and then you have compliance, you have safety, you have scheduling, hours of service. The broker takes the hours of service out of the game by telling you on the rate con that you better have fresh hours when you get to said customer. So they're not worried about the hours anymore. They're hoping that you know that, right? If not, you've signed a rate con that says you will do that. Shippers, what they'll do is they'll have you sign a paper that you got enough hours to do the load. Well, why would they do that? Well, because drivers will pick loads that pay really well, claim that they have a flat tire or something else, and they can't deliver on time, and it becomes a whole nightmare of logistics, rescheduling, and everything else. And now you're dealing with 3 people trying to reschedule something. And as complex as the logistics world is, sometimes you just got to go back to basics. Know how to talk to people, figure out why things happen the way they are, and then you just overcome that. Take McDonald's. They have analyzed every aspect of their business to keep costs low and efficient, including size of straw to optimize carbonation and drinking volume. That is true. CDN McDonald's also has a whole team that looks at how to how to cut drive-through times down. It's all about efficiency. It is. And I'm telling you guys, David Edwards, what's up? I'm telling you guys, the brokers that have the important shippers that have priorities of safe and efficient delivery, they aren't posting for 80 cents a mile on this low board. That's the gist of it. Having a low board is a great tool, but it's only one of many tools that you can put in your hands. Let's take a look at flatbed. I'm not even throwing in step deck. We have a flatbed truck now. Michigan looks pretty good. Minnesota's not too bad. Southeast on fire as usual. Look at this. Alabama, 1804 outbound, 428 inbound. Mississippi, 705 outbound, 113 inbound. Louisiana, 515 outbound, 135 inbound. Texas, a lot of interstate in Texas, which we have that here, so you can make some money doing that. Let's take a look at Missouri. Let's see what flatbed loads are coming in and out of Missouri. A lot of partials. Here we go. Let's look at this one. Lathrop, Missouri, going to Chilton, Wisconsin. They're at $800. It shows van, reefer, flatbed, step deck, straight box truck. Anybody will take this. Deliver 24/7, payment at delivery. It's construction. I don't even know if they have a working MC number. Yeah, no credit history, nothing. Avoid. Um, Seymour, Missouri. Let's take a look at that. This is normally going for around between $600 to $700. Doesn't say what it is. And it's going to Dewey, Oklahoma. I'm not sure. Let's see. What did Oklahoma look like? Yellow. So going from one bad market to another. What's the red stand for on that map? I'm outside of Chicago. I'm in a red zone. Um, Red is bad. Just means that there's more inbound than outbound. So you're going to be harder pressed to get a good rate. Never mind, you changed it. I was on. I was on. You're in a red zone. Where were you at? I'm outside of Chicago. You were in a red zone. That original map was probably all the platforms. Maybe. I don't think I've ever seen Illinois look red. Um, the word team is the key word of the day. I hate to say it, but one truck and driver or one broker can fix or change market rates. It takes a team. Can't fix market rates. It takes a team, right? Seeing very true. However, you can't get five people to agree on one thing. That's part of what I talk about. Great conversation today. No silver bullet. How to get market rates to a happy, medium, consistent place. You're right, and there never will be a silver bullet. CDN. It's part of the understanding the game. That's your silver bullet. Not having emotional reactions when you see something for 98 cents a mile going all the way out to California. Or let's, like, for example, what did you all feel when you saw that it was only going to profit, that one load was only going to profit $2 or 2 cents a mile, and your total profit for the entire load for the entire week was going to be $41? What emotion did that cause? Did that cause anger? Did that cause fear? And then you deal with that emotion. Okay, why did it cause anger? Well, because, obviously you don't know the cost of running a truck, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so the easiest solution is you don't feed that machine. You don't call that broker, or if you do call that broker, maybe they need to know that the rate needs to come up. But you have to tell them why. You can't just like, well, I need to be at $2 a mile on that. Well, why? Well, because, I deserve it. That ain't going to fly. But if you go, well, the cost per mile, blah, 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 cost, and you can use numbers that go straight across the board for most trucks, like fuel costs, which is what that number on the profit calculator was based off of, just fuel and the percentage. Old school, new school, right there. Understanding the game is the golden bullet. James Clark says laughter. That's kind of where I'm at. I see a load posted for 98 cents a mile going all the way out to California. I just kind of like laugh. Now, if I was desperate to get a load to California, I would call them and see what's up. Why is it like that? Why is it there? And then ask them how often they move it. And then when they say, well, we got a carrier that does this every week for this rate, I'm like, okay, well, where is that carrier now? Did they have something happen? Did they go out of business? Because you're going to go out of business slowly on this rate. But you got to do it in a respectful, way that's not confrontational, just to get information. That's part of negotiating, is getting the information from the other side. Why is this 98 cents a mile? Or why did you, book this load that should normally take 3 days and it's 1.5? Or why is this load a 3-day run, but it's got a 6-day transit time on it? Ask the why. And the more these brokers are willing to tell you why, the more you can understand whether they're telling the truth or not. Because there's a lot of drivers and carriers that don't tell the truth either. And it goes back to that video I posted earlier about understanding why. Well, it doesn't make sense. I don't understand why. Well, make it make sense. And it goes back to what old school, new school's saying here. Understanding the game is the golden bullet. That's what CDN has taught me. And I'm willing to talk to the brokers I deal with. And you know what? They like dealing with me because I'm not confrontational. They know what my limits are. I've got a broker I use all the time. He's like, "Yeah, Steve, I'm not even going to offer this one. It's a low rate. Let's look at something else." Because they know, right? But the person overseas that has this freight, obviously, because they're able to get it before CH could, they don't understand that. And how do you capitalize on that? Understanding the game. And that's what I do. I'm not driving my truck right now, so I have time to analyze these markets and but not just like, okay, this is the hot map right now. I want to know why. Why is it that the Southeast is constantly on fire when it comes to flatbed? Why is this? A lot of it's building materials coming off the ports. A lot of it's building materials that are made with the forest in this area. All the logging trucks that you see down in the Southeast, they make lots of different products out of those trees. Okay? This is your metal belt. A lot of metal materials are still made through here. A lot of metal materials come off the port. Understanding that. That's why you don't have hot flatbed freight coming out of Montana. If Montana was to suddenly turn green, I would click on that and wonder why. But normally I would recognize that before it would turn green, because I would recognize that they're not paying as much as they normally to go from Alabama to Montana, because they think that you're going to get the rate coming out. It would be interesting to video taking a cheap load, from booking the pickup, delivery, getting paid, trying to interview staff at shipper to see if you know what's going on with rates. That'll never happen. CDN, I completely agree with the interview video. I see CN trucks out here. No, it's a different entity. As we as consumers are always buying the cheapest products 98% of the time. Why? Because we think retailers just overcharging. Sometimes we pay for quality, but we go cheap on consumables. Human nature. I was watching Shark Tank last night, and this lady was had a business of selling $50 box of cookies. $50 box of cookies. And she said she wanted to get the price down. She wanted to make that approachable for any income. And all the sharks were like, "No, you need to specialize. Now you're a quality product. You need to go for quality, not quantity." Because the profit margins were way higher. I encourage people to watch Shark Tank. Watch how negotiations are done. Watch what makes the investors open up their eyes. Watch what impresses them. No, I'm an agent for a non-asset based freight broker. I know the owner of my brokerage who was born in Canada. Jojo says, put these guys on blast. Some folks only understand anger. Well, here's what happens though. Those brokers will only email. That's it. You can't even talk to them on the phone. And emails are easily ignored. So that's why there's this uptick. Every time the market drops, I see it all the time. Every time the market drops, the email only comes up. Because they don't have to hear the driver cursing at them for trying to move something at 98 cents a mile. Would love to haul load of Gibson guitar out of Montana. Is there a Gibson in Montana? I thought they were in Nashville. A lot of that stuff goes on LTL. I don't think I've ever seen a 53-foot trailer full of guitars. That would be a very high value load, especially if it's Gibson. Normally guitars are delivered, 3 or 4 or 10 at a time with an LTL like FedEx or something like that. But anyways, that's understanding the game. If something causes an emotional reaction, dig deep in those emotions and figure out why. What would you do if all the loads on the low board were 98 cents a mile? What would you do? Marty wanted to see Hopper Bottom. Oh, it's not as red as I thought. But still, what would you do if you opened the low board and you saw this? So let's go to Iowa here. There's 9 loads coming out of Iowa that are Hopper Bottom. Look, there's no rate check, cargo chief, or green screens. There's no way to know what your pricing is. So how would you know how to price this if you're working the spot market on Hopper Bottom? There's not even a credit. Well, there is credit. Credit score, N. 57 days to pay. Trans credit looks good. But how do you even price this? Marty, are you thinking about doing Hopper Bottom? You gotta know your game, man. There's no telling what this load pays. I have no idea. Contact Westlake Dispatch. That's a different than this name. So it's obviously some dispatch service or some other company that's got this rate that they're brokering out for this company. Maybe. I don't know. That's an assumption. Reality, if you're in the spot market, you're dealing with it. If you just looking to enter the spot market, do not come out and complain. There's much info available to tell spot is volatile, right? Gibson Acoustics. Okay. Steve, isn't an upgrade to the low board to see the map? You cannot see. Well, here's so. I believe so. Yes. So if you get my code, it's $35 a month for all the tools except for Cargo Chief. If you don't use my code, it's $45 for all the tools. Cargo Chief is a $20 add-on. Now, if you're on the app, load availability is only on the list. They're working on getting the map to the app. So you're only going to see this list here. which is essentially you can just kind of look, okay, Missouri's red, New Mexico's green. Oh, wow, New Mexico's green and Hopper Bottom. It's the only time I've ever seen it green. So let's take a look at that. Carlsbad, New Mexico, going to Garden City, Kansas. Let's see what that looks like. No rate, contact brokerage, Reliant Transportation. But yeah, the tools are extra. So if you're only using the app, you don't have any of these tools if you're using the free version. Shannon, good morning. So Shannon, you're late. Anyways, that's today's show. I would say I hope you enjoyed it, but I probably didn't do anything joyful. So, but look, I know people that are making money. I know people that have great relationships with brokers. I know people that are getting decent rates. I have yet to see or know a person that took 98 cents a mile. Um, the lowest rates I usually take have been because the driver needed something specific, place at a specific time, and so your choices are limited at that point. And they went into that understanding that. I still negotiate. Look, I get paid percentage, so I still have to negotiate, right? I'll just like, I'll take it. I've never done that, right? You weren't late. You couldn't text. Well, good on you, right? Good on you. Used to have a 1965 dovetail. That's cool. Um, and I appreciate. Carnivore says good show. With both feet says thanks. Patrick says thanks. Um, so, anyways, guys, just be smart. The spot market's not an easy place to maneuver. You got to really kind of have your act together, or the ability to learn, adapt, and overcome. And so, been doing this game for. I've been an owner operator for 8 years now. I've seen plenty of drivers come and go because they failed to understand how logistics works. And then when rates come down and they bought all their toys, and it takes them out. So control your debt, know your costs, try to understand the game that you're playing, and you'll be all right. It's as easy as that. All these arguments about cheap freight and all these different echo chamber arguments, the reality is it's as basic as understand the game and learn to adapt to it. That's it. And the best way to do that is always progress forward and control your emotions. It's as simple as that. It literally as complex as logistics is or are. I can't speak English. Learn to be able to see the forest from the trees and figure out why things are the way they are. And you'll be fine. With that being said, thanks for watching. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Aggression turns to screws. Peace.